Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am doing my second sourdough video. If you haven't already seen the first one where I showed you how to create a sourdough starter, I highly suggest watching that video because in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to feed and maintain your starter. I really wanted to break up my sourdough video series into a few parts because I feel like so many people have questions and hesitations about creating a sourdough starter, and I feel like if I can put it into smaller, more organized videos when you're looking for that specific topic, you can easily come to whatever video you want and is broken down for you. So like I said, the first video I created was how to create a sourdough starter. So I took you through the whole process, days 1 all the way through 8, and we created one together. So now that you have the starter, you need to maintain it. Your starter can essentially last for years and years and years. I mean, there are some people who have their starter for like 50 years. So when it comes to feeding and maintaining your starter, as with our original starter, we used 100% whole wheat flour to feed it. When it comes to maintaining your starter, because it's already fully mature, it really doesn't need that 100% whole wheat, and because whole wheat flour is a bit more expensive than all-purpose, I like to do a 50-50 ratio for future feedings. So what that's going to look like is this. I just put it into a jar so that I don't have to take both giant bags of flour out every time I want to feed my starter, and it is just 50% whole wheat, 50% unbleached all-purpose. You still want to make sure it's unbleached. The specific brands of flour that I use are King Arthur unbleached all-purpose and Bob's Red Mill 100% whole wheat flour. So just make sure you label it so you know what it is. It's your sourdough feeding flour. And it's super simple to then use this to feed your starter. So when should you feed it to maintain it? There's a couple different ways to do this. Personally, I like the no fuss, simplest, no waste method, and that is to feed it when you're going to use it. Personally, the way I like to use my starter is, say I have a recipe, for example, sourdough pancakes. I will empty out most of my starter, just like we did in our original feeding video, and I will leave about 1 to 2 tablespoons of original starter in my jar. So I'm going to be emptying out my starter into a mixing bowl, essentially what I'm going to use to make my pancakes in. So then what we're left with is the jar of starter with 1 to 2 tablespoons remaining, and that's when I will do my feeding. I will do the same feeding, 40 grams of water. I will do 40 grams of this half and half mixture instead of 100% whole wheat, and then that is my feeding. I'll leave it out for a day. Let it come back to its bubbly, kind of doubling in size, active self, and then pop it in the fridge. And with this method, there is no waste. I didn't waste any of my starter. I didn't have to dump any of it out. Essentially, the part that I dumped out is the part that I am using in my recipe. So if you are going to be keeping your starter out on the counter every day, you're gonna have to feed it once a day. Personally, I don't use my starter that often that I need it every day. I keep mine in the fridge. This is going to kind of halt the fermentation. It's not going to make it reverse, but it's just going to kind of halt it. It's not going to continue. So when you keep it in the fridge, you really only have to feed it once a week. And when I take mine out to feed is when I use it. Say you're going to be gone for 2 weeks, you're going on vacation, or even a month. You can put your sourdough starter in the freezer. I've seen people do this and I've seen it work successfully. I would recommend probably taking it out of the fridge, feeding it, getting it pretty active and bubbly, maybe feed it for 2 days on the counter, and then stick it in the freezer. However long you're gone, when you come back, take it out of the freezer, put it on the counter, let it defrost, let it come to room temperature. Once it's 100% defrosted, then continue feeding it. And I would feed it for about 5 days, leaving it out on the counter because you really want to get it bubbly and active again. Once it's bubbling, it's doubling in size, it's active again, then you can pop it back in the fridge or use it. It's really simple, and with these techniques, you should be able to keep your starter going for years and years to come. So hopefully this video answered all of your questions on how to feed and maintain your sourdough starter. My next video is going to be how to use your sourdough starter in recipes. I did go a little bit into detail in this video, but I'm gonna go even more in depth on how to actually use it in multiple different recipes, whether it be bread or something simpler like pancakes. And I eventually will have my own sourdough recipes out on the channel. I've just kind of been tweaking them. I really haven't made that much stuff with sourdough because I'm kind of new to this as well as you guys. So I'm just sharing what I learn along the journey and the process of using sourdough. So if you guys have any questions about feeding or maintaining sourdough, just feel free to leave them in the comments down below and I'll be sure to get to them. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more kind of cooking from scratch types of videos, I will leave a link to my playlist in the cards. And with that, if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, be sure to, and post new videos every single week, and I will see you guys in my next video.